Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are St. Louis.
It's a perfect day to play a little hooky. Grab some lunch in downtown St. Louis, then make your way over to the ballpark. Cardinals looking for a split against San Francisco. And this afternoon, we wrap up the homestand on Fox Sports Midwest. And welcome to Cardinals baseball. That's the Mad Hungarian Al Hrabosky. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Cardinals hope to forget about last night and just concentrate on what we hope is a win today.
Absolutely. They could be 5-2 on this homestand. Got off to a great start in the first 5 games, scoring plenty of runs, and the pitching was outstanding. Last night, just forget about it. Historically, one of the worst losses ever for the Cardinals, but they got a chance to win and a split here this afternoon.
And as you mentioned, it's about pitching. Adam Wainwright, sensational over the weekend. Will that carry over to this afternoon? We're about to find out. Moments away from our first pitch. Settle in and join us. Baseball coming up. The weekend on Saturday night against Milwaukee, he was terrific as he went the distance.
He really has been pitching very well of late. Hopefully that will continue. The Cardinals can even this series at 2-2 against the Giants. We really need Adam to come back to the fold.
Back in 2002, it was Kenny Lofton and Mike Matheny behind the plate. The NLCS tempers with flair. We'll take you back to 0-2 when we come back on Fox Sports Midwest. Seasons in franchise history coming together to overcome the deaths of Darryl Kyle and Jack Buck. With a quick look back at the 2002 National League Championship Series between the Cards and Giants, here's Pat Paris.
Game 1 of the 2002 NLCS was played in front of 52,000 Cardinal fans at Busch Stadium, but belonged to Barry Bonds. Bonds had a 2-run triple, scored twice, and drew 3 walks. But it was Kenny Lofton that ignited the fire. His admiration of an earlier home run drew the ire of the Cardinals, and Tony versus Dusty Part 1 of 3 was the result. Albert homered late, but it wasn't enough. Giants took Game 1, 9-6. Game 2 also saw some long-distance shots, this time by the Giants' Rich Aurelia. 2 home runs off Cardinal starter Woody Williams. Giants starter Jason Schmidt was dominating. 7 2/3 innings of work with only 1 run allowed, and some big strikeouts in clutch situations. San Francisco won 4-1, and just like that, the Giants were up 2-0. An emotional open for Game 3. Cannon Kyle was introduced, representing his late father, Darryl, who died just a few months prior to the NLCS. The team rallied around Cannon with a few big home runs. Mike Matheny and Jim Edmonds hit solo shots early, and Eli Marrero connected for a tie-breaking shot in the 6th inning. Cardinals edged out the Giants by 1 run, 2 if you count Cannon Kyle touching home after the game. The game plan for Game 4 was simple. Don't let Barry beat you. He didn't, but the guy behind him did. After La Russa intentionally passed Bonds in the 8th, Benito Santiago foiled the strategy with a 2-run blast to left. San Francisco closer Rob Nen struck out Albert Pujols and J.D. Drew in the 9th, giving the Giants a 4-3 lead and a 3-1 series advantage. Game 5 was a fantastic pitchers duel between Matt Morris and Kirk Reeder, but in the end, the same player who stirred the pot in Game 1 ended the series in Game 5, sending the Giants to their first World Series since 1989.
Thank you, Pat. The Redbirds' rally in 2002 fell short, but 10 years and 2 championships later, Cardinals can look back on 2002 and be very proud of what they accomplished. Cards and Giants in 2012, Game 4, coming up next. Budweiser, great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By your Mid-America Chevy dealers, the #1 selling brand in St. Louis. Find us at stlchevy.com. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. And by Steak and Shake, just no equal. With the Mad Hungarian Al Raboski, Jim Hayes, Dan McLaughlin with you, and a beautiful afternoon here in St. Louis and Busch Stadium. Nice crowd on hand as we finish up the homestand. We leave for Philly after the game tonight. We'll be there over the weekend and then back home. And as we've talked about, this is such an important stretch of baseball for the St. Louis Cardinals leading into that final month.
Well, they need to win this game, have a 5-2 homestand, then go win that series in Philadelphia, and then come back home for a nice long homestand and pick up even more ground on the front runners.
The Cardinals will start play this afternoon, 6 games back in the NL Central Division. And in the wild card race, St. Louis is 4 games back of Atlanta and 3.5 back of the Pittsburgh Pirates. So Adam Wainwright coming off the complete game over the weekend against Milwaukee, wrapping up the homestand today. And this is the lineup that he will face. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines, Pagan, Scudero, and Cabrera. Then Posey, Pence, and Belt, Crawford, Arias, and Bumgarner. Cardinals started off this homestand with 4 straight wins. Adam right in the middle of things, and now a chance to even up that record at 10-10.
And he's been pitching very well. He's 6-5 and 12 starts at Busch Stadium, but he's 3-0, 1.61 in his last 3 home starts. So hopefully that trend will continue. And Adam, who is now our ace, pitching like an ace.
Toyota keys to the game. Adam Wainwright, what he's done here at Busch Stadium. Record of 3-0. ERA has been very good, and also he's added to his own run support. 3 for 5, pair of doubles, 3 RBIs. Run support has been a real problem for Adam Wainwright, especially early on this season. He wasn't pitching all that well. The team wasn't scoring runs. But the second half of the year has been a different story.
Yeah, the team has scored a lot of runs for him lately, particularly here at home, and he hasn't needed that many.
Defense behind Wainwright, Holiday, Jay, and Beltran. Freeze for Kyle on the left side of the infield. Descalso at second base. Craig at first. Yadier Molina's behind the plate. And around the horn is presented by Dobbs. Good to see for Kyle back in there dealing with a sore back, and Descalso shifting over to second base. And the first pitch is taken for a strike by Angel Pagan. We're underway here at Busch Stadium. San Francisco has scored a first inning run in 7 straight road games. Had a lead in every game of this series. And last night it didn't matter if it was the 1st, the 5th, or the 9th. They were scoring the entire game.
Talking to Mike Krukow, their television analyst for the Giants, and he said he was asked recently who has scored the most runs on the road. And he goes, I have no idea. And he found out it was the Giants. He thought they'd be in the middle of the pack, but on the road they score a lot more runs than they do at home.
They've averaged close to 9 runs a game on their current road trip, and scoring 15 will certainly help, like it did last night.
Key for any pitcher is to retire the first batter, but Pagan really is a catalyst.
And that's a ground ball that's pulled foul. Good to see that Alec Craig is healthy enough today and back in the lineup this afternoon. 2 home runs, solo shots 2 nights ago. Wainwright went with that high stirrup look, the throwback unis over the weekend, and continues that look this afternoon. And that is a strikeout. The cutter, and Pagan starts the game with a K.
Adam picked up his 2nd complete game of the year in his last time outing, so why not go back to the high stirrups? Good cutter right there. Looked like it was going to be outside. Hitter gave up on it, and then it breaks all the way across the plate for this punch out.
Marco Scutaro, career high 7 driven in last night. 3 for 6. He did have a double, and then late he added the grand slam, 3rd of his career. And a liner into right center, the catch made by John Jay. 2 down.
Scutaro, since coming over from Colorado in the trade, was hitting .347. 1 home run, 13 RBIs, just a handful of games. The 7 RBIs last night sure helped.
Melky Cabrera, he's first in hits at 154 in the National League. Also multi-hit games. Second in average at 355. They're talking contract extension with Cabrera, a free agent to be. And he said prior to batting practice yesterday that he wants to put everything off until after this season is through, concentrate on the games in hand. And he falls behind 0-2.
Boy, strike machine out there for Wainwright. Wainwright's given up a lot of hits on first pitches, but they haven't been these quality pitches, just kind of a get ahead pitch.
The 0-2 is hit to the right side, but a foul ball. Craig is playing near the line at first. You could see where Adam Wainwright could fill that role that Carpenter filled second half of last season, where they just get on his back and he carries them into postseason play. Here's the 0-2 pitch.
And he's about 19 months post-surgery, post-Tommy John surgery. He came back a lot quicker and started this season. But this is where a lot of guys start, really making their full recovery about
exactly
that 18, 19-month period.
2-2 the count. Crowd still filing in. Beautiful afternoon downtown St. Louis. Good matchup here with Cabrera and Wainwright, and a 3-2 pitch on its way.
Good pitching matchup also. Bumgarner, only 23 years of age, but he's been pretty good. He's 12-6 this year. 3-2, you don't walk him, fastball away.
See that Cabrera is very tough to strike out. We talked about how he's improved his body. He's in great shape this year, hitting .375 the last 10 games. But they also talk about plate coverage. You go inside, he's able to turn on a pitch, and if you go outside, looks like the Cardinals want to do that here possibly, but now they set up in. He's able to take it the other way. Here's a ground ball that's hit to second. Wainwright will win that battle. Descalso puts him away. Cardinals coming up in the home half of the first, and there's no score. baseball on your home of the Cardinals, Fox Sports Midwest. Lineup for St. Louis. They lead the league in hitting. John Jay, Alan Craig, and Matt Holliday. Then Beltran Freeze, who homered off today's starter Bumgarner earlier this year. Molina, Descalso, Furcal, and Adam Wainwright. Madison Bumgarner, the young lefty, coming off a start in which he ditched his curveball at Coors Field. He's 12-6, but threw his sinker and his cutter, relied on those two pitches. And he talked about just gutting through that start against the Rockies. He can be very tough, and today is his 23rd start of this 2012 campaign.
He's also only 23 years of age. 12-6, most of his wins, 7-1 and ERA under 2 at home. 5-5 on the road, ERA just at 4, and it would be an innings eater.
Defense behind him with Cabrera, Pagan, and Pence in the outfield. The infield left to right is Arias, Crawford, Scudero, and Belt. Behind the plate, Buster Posey. He's done some damage at the plate in this series. Around the Horn is brought to you by Dobbs. And speaking of damage, what a series John Jay has had, which has included a 4-for-4 night and very good defense along the way, too. He's at it again. Base hit out to left.
Now 3 for 5 off of Bumgarner. And just as you said, continuing that assault on Giants pitchers. Another hit off a left-hander. Down the way. Good piece of hitting going the opposite field. Maybe the Cardinals can jump out to a lead. Usually when they do that, they win.
Cardinals saw Bumgarner back on May 16th. And he allowed 4 runs on 7 hits in 7 1/3. Here's Craig. 2 of the 3 hits in the series have been home runs.
Alan Craig is outstanding hitter, just a couple points shy of 300. He's hit 324 here at Busch. And against left-handed pitching, 365 average.
Good rip by Jay, and it's fouled back. We've seen John Jay get the starts at first base primarily, and now we understand that, or rather Alan Craig, we understand that Lance Berkman has been experiencing soreness in his left knee. Remember, it was surgery on the right knee earlier this year.
They both have been troublesome for him in the past. Sometimes you compensate for one and the other one starts barking. But it'd be a few weeks before he'll get back to helping out Mike Matheny.
And Mike saying before the game he just cannot catch a break. Berkman, the 36-year-old switch hitter, limited duty this year. 0-2 the count here on Craig.
Touched on Bumgarner. When he's right, he'll break a lot of bats, get a lot of ground balls. Cutter is a real key for him, coming in on the right-handed batters.
Oh, 0-2 the count. Jay was leaning, and Craig hits it up the middle. Race to the bag and out. Scudero just got there before John Jay.
Jordan Baker, the second base umpire, must admit to the naked eye it looked like that John Jay had beaten Scudero to the bag. There it looks like a good call. Scudero jumps for the bag, and just a split second ahead, I think Scudero wins the battle.
Holliday with 7 hits in the homestand, but most of that done against Milwaukee over the weekend. Reached base in 34 consecutive starts. Base hit, hit by pitch, walk, whatever the case may be, but he's been on base a lot. The on base percentage has been on the rise too after the first month. One ball, one strike, one out. Runner at first. Alan Craig. Outfield is deep and straight away.
Mentioned after a slow start, Holiday hit 340 in May, 363 in June and July.
Popped foul and out of play. Tony's, well, one of his favorite sayings was, after 162, you are what you are. And meaning that if you're a 500 team, after 162, that's what you are. That's the kind of team that baseball sees you at. And he also would always mention about player stats, where you wind up at the end of the season, give him a full 6 months and you'll see a guy put up numbers, and that's what Holiday has done as he strikes out here. First strikeout for Bumgarner, and it brings in the switch hitting Beltran.
Breaking ball. Bouncing up there, but getting Holiday to chase. Goes from that low 3/4 angle.
Beltran takes a ball in. Bumgarner was the 10th overall pick back in 2007 from Hickory, North Carolina. The first left-hander picked in the first round by the Giants since Mike Remlinger. Remember Mike?
Sure. Also survived working with Steve Klein, who was their AAA pitching coach at Fresno. You know, Klein is very proud of what Bumgarner's been able to do at this level.
For as goofy as Steve Klein could be as a player, he also did have a very serious side to him.
Yeah, and I think he'd be a good communicator with these young players. I think he'd get his point across in a fun way.
2-1 pitch. Beltran. Goodbye. How far? Stay fair. It will. Goodbye. 2-0 St. Louis. Beltran connects early on with number 27.
Adds to his league-leading RBI total, and that ball just stayed up in the zone. Didn't get it far enough in. He turns on it, hits that 27th home run. RBI is now up to 80. Bumgarner really allows most of his home runs on the road. Keeps the ball in the ballpark, and there you see he's creeping up closer to Braun.
Just two back of Ryan Braun. That's the 18th home run that Bumgarner has given up. And as you talked about, majority of that has been on the road. Opponents only hitting just above 220 against him. That's how good he has been.
15 of the 18 home runs have been hit on the road.
Sends a jolt into this ballpark after last night, the flat performance by the club. 2-0 thanks to Carlos Beltran. RBIs 79 and 80.
From a player's standpoint, a game like last night is easily forgotten.
Freese pops it foul and out of play.
The beauty of playing every day and such a long season, 162 games. You don't have a week to think about it like a football team. You just turn the page and move on.
2-2 pitch. Tapped foul. Bumgarner last year was a .500 pitcher, 13-13. And he did log over 200 innings, always a key stat to look at the end of a season. At 204.
He's tossed at least 6 innings in all but 2 starts this year.
So Wainwright, who has had fits against San Francisco in his career, has been given an early lead. Adam is 1-4 in his big league career against San Francisco. Freese strikes out. And that's the second strikeout in the game for Bumgarner. 2 in the inning, but a 2-run homer by Carlos Beltran. Cardinals on top. The Pittsburgh Pirates, and that Friday night is Coke Zero Walmart Team Banner Night. See the photos and action photos of all the players on the team banner. That's the Friday night, the 17th of August. 2-0 Cardinals. Beltran goes deep. And here is Buster Posey. Extended his hit streak to 12 games. And the All-Star catcher has now hit safely in 21 of 23 games since the break. You break down those numbers, it's even better. He has been their most productive hitter in their lineup.
8 home runs, 30 RBIs in the 23 games since the break.
2 years ago, thanks to Buster Posey, they won the World Series in 2010 season. Stayed in contention last year. Finished with 86 wins. And they're trying to finish above 500 for the 4th consecutive season. As Posey breaks his bat, Freeze distracted just a bit, but with Craig staying on the bag at first, makes the play. Looked like David had to duck. He thought that bat was coming at him and then tried to field the ground ball as well.
Peripheral vision, you know the barrel of the bat's coming at you, so you took a little look at where the barrel was coming, misconnected, but stayed with it. And key there was he had that little crow hop to get his body under control before throwing. Ball was a little bit high, but Craig did a nice job staying on the bag.
Hunter Pence looks at strike one. 2 for 13 in this series. 0-2.
Got a couple RBIs last night. He has struggled since coming over from Philadelphia at the deadline.
On the outside corner, it's a strikeout. Let's go back to the first out here. The top of the second and the stretch by Alan Craig.
High throw. Got that toe. Whether he's on the bag or not, he sells it to Marvin Hudson, our first base umpire. Looked like he did.
In steps Brandon Belt.
Couldn't be good on your little rib cage that acting up.
Belt hits it down the left field line, but foul out of play. Went back and forth, minor leagues to the major leagues, 6 different times last year. And they have asked him to really try to lay off the high fastballs. Low ball hitters we saw the other night with a double into right center. Fans still coming into the ballpark here at Busch Stadium. Here's the 0-2.
Brandon 6 for 12 in this series, and in his past 12 games batting .366.
He's 6'5". They've got him at the plate standing more tall. Not crouched over as much. We talked about that with Holiday. Matt earlier this year was like that, made the mechanical adjustment. 2-2. Belt a 5th round selection back in 2009.
His batting stance, he doesn't look comfortable. You know, some guys look very free and easy and comfortable at the plate. He looks like he's all tight.
Two by Adam Wainwright. He's 6'5". He's left-handed, and at one point, Baseball America had him rated higher than Clayton Kershaw as a pitcher. Boston originally selected him as a pitcher, blew out his arm, became a position player, and here he is in the big leagues.
It's not that uncommon anymore, is it?
Not at all.
Don't have the wear and tear, and you see a lot of youngsters think they got to start getting pitching lessons at such a young age and do a lot of damage before that arm and body is developed.
Trying to go inside, fouled off by Belt. He does stand deep in the box, and you notice that wide base that he takes.
He starts out wide, then he kind of closes up as the pitch is coming in. Fastball away.
And he missed. Good at bat by Brandon Belt. Fought off some very good pitches by Wainwright. 2-out walk, and it brings in Crawford.
The guy's hitting the ball very well. He's also seeing it, and he has a better understanding of the strike zone. I think they go hand in hand.
Didn't hit all that much last year. Only played 66 games, hit .204. They've had him working in spring training with Sean Dunston.
Sort of equaled his home run total of a year ago and surpassed RBIs. And he was a difference maker in last night's game with his defense, and he picked up a couple hits in the game also.
Yeah, his defense, we talked about it. It was 15-0, so it turned into a blowout, but a play early on may have just set the tone for the game, taking a hit away from Freese and an RBI that would have made it 2-1.
2-1, and that was in the 5th inning, and then that momentum shifted, and they had the big 5-run 6th inning.
1 ball and 1 strike. Giants starting play today, 1.5 games in front of LA, 5 in front of Arizona. 1-1 pitch.
Wainwright has good command today. He's hitting in his spots, or if he misses, it just barely misses. And keep everything out of the middle of the plate, working in and away.
The 2-1. These strike zones today, Al, are so tight. The advantage going to the hitters that a pitcher has to be almost perfect with movement. Anything to try to get these hitters off balance.
I think it's tougher to pitch today than any time. As you say, the strike zone is shrunk. Players are bigger, stronger.
The 2-2. Curveball, and he got him. Called third strike, and the third strikeout for Wainwright this afternoon. Molina, Descalso for Cowell coming up. Phillies game from the Ultimate Guys Weekend at Chaffetz Arena. Get your tickets. Find out more. UltimateGuysWeekend.net. Tony La Russa will be there, and some of St. Louis's biggest stars will be there at Chaffetz Arena.
I know a couple of my favorites, Bob Gibson and Conrad Dobler.
Red Shandies will be there. Here's Yadier Molina. Molina, Descalso, and Furcal. Yadi 3 for 10 with a double, and he hits a fly ball out to left. Cabrera is there for the out, one away. Cardinals have grabbed an early lead thanks to Carlos Beltran and his 27th home run this year. 2-run shot back in the first. Here's Descalso, who's hitting .241 and hitless in this series. Many family and friends are watching Daniel. Grew up an Oakland A's fan in the Bay Area. He's telling me that the other day that a lot of his friends are torn right now, whether to cheer for him or the Giants.
They cheer for both. Maybe it's time to make the news that their Cardinals did make a deal today. Tyler Green was traded to the Houston Astros for a player to be named later.
Made sense, didn't it? After last night, writing was on the wall.
Well, we both felt that way, that change of scenery was probably the best thing for Tyler. Wish him a lot of luck. And
there's a ground ball hit to third. Arias makes the play.
Skip Schumacher was talking about, the Tyler, good guy, and we know that, and we'll echo that all the time, and really worked hard, on the field, in the cages, in the weight room. Just wasn't happening for him here, and so maybe a change of scenery would be the best thing.
Cardinals were shorthanded last night. One of the reasons why Green was in that lineup. Schumacher was out, and so was Rafael Furcal. Had an epidural, and they're trying to address the stiffness in the lower back. essentially he has hit a plateau in trying to play every day and doing it without a shot, so they did that. And this is something that Furcal has been dealing with for the better part of 4 or 5 years. Had back ailments in the past, surgery on his lower back. Well, that cost him more than half the year in 2008. 2010, he missed a month, had a lower back strain. And even with that first swing, you can just tell he is not quite right and not comfortable.
And sometimes you wish he wouldn't be facing a left-hander, because when he bats right-handed, you know, he swings twice as hard.
1-1 pitch.
There he is, the third baseman back, so thought about dropping down a bunt. Even just showing bunt sometimes will alter the defense of the third baseman, open up some more hitting lanes.
Furcal has talked about that his back issue, as he did not go around, has even caused a tingling sensation down his leg and numbness. So it's a serious issue that he has to play through.
L5 S1.
You know it quite well.
Sciatic.
3-2 the count on Furcal. Does have a home run and a .417 average against this lefty. And he swings and misses, a strikeout. This is the third of the afternoon for Bumgarner. Is brought to you by the new wireless receiver from AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyeartv. Rethink possible. MyKiaSt.Louis.com. And get the All-American Jack Combo at Jack in the Box. It's a no-nonsense burger with fries and a drink for only $4.99 plus tax at participating stores. Gorgeous afternoon for baseball. Glad you're with us on the home of the Cardinals, Fox Sports Midwest. Leisurely afternoon. Sit back, relax, and take it all in. Here's Arias, the third baseman for San Francisco. 8th place hitter, followed by Bumgarner and then Angel Pagan. 0-1 pitch. Ground ball sharply hit to third. Freeze is there. 1 away. Hitting the road, take our coverage. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest with you. Visit Cardinals.com and you will get MLB.tv. Madison Bumgarner. Mentioned that he Was born and raised in North Carolina. And he's been part of a World Series team. He signed a long-term extension at the age of 23, and he said that still one of his best baseball memories was hitting a walk-off home run to win the state championship in high school. The Giants have locked up most of their pitching staff, and that includes Madison Bumgarner. They did not have to do that, but Bruce Bochy and Brain Trust, the front office of the Giants, decided to take a chance. And really, it's a calculated chance on both sides. Bumgarner, if he stays healthy and puts up great numbers, could have made more in the open market, but he gets long-term financial security. And the Giants buy out some of those arbitration years, which the numbers as far as what they would pay him would be a little bit higher. We've seen that more and more in baseball. Young players getting locked up. There's a strikeout, and that's number 4.
Randall looked sharp tonight. This afternoon is last time out. He threw a complete game. That was Saturday night against Milwaukee. He's got a shutout this season in 2 complete games, trying to even his record at 10-10.
Angel Pagan, top of the lineup for the Giants. Switch hitter was called out on strikes to start the game. Pagan was a 4th-round pick by the Mets back in 1999. Came over from New York this offseason for Ramon Ramirez and Andres Torres.
Trades worked, I think, very well for San Francisco.
Yeah, this is a team that last year was last in the National League in runs scored, so they were looking for some speed and a little bit more production at the top of their lineup, and they've gotten that from Pagan.
Switch hitter that's really pretty true to form. 282 right now is his batting average. 288 right-handed, 280 left-handed. He's got 19 steals.
3-1. Here's a ground ball right side. So fell behind 3-0. Comes back to get him. Grounds out, and Pagan is 0 for 2. Wainwright leads it off when we come back. Club of America. It's a place where youth can reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. Greatfutures.org/Fox Sports. This would be Wainwright, Jay, and Craig for St. Louis.
Wainwright's been pitching better, and his batting average, and that has come alive. He's got 3 RBIs the last 2 games.
Going back, Al, to the trade of Tyler Green. He was traded this morning to Houston. So reunited with Jeff Luhnow, who drafted him originally, first-round pick out of Georgia Tech. And there's the numbers that you're talking about, 4 for his last 9. It's also a non-pressure situation, clearly, for Tyler Green, in the fact that from a team perspective, Houston's going nowhere. They're 36-76. They've won 4 games out of their last 35. Think about that. And maybe he just needs a change of scenery and a chance to play every day. You know, we've always said, what would this guy do with 500 at-bats? How many steals would he get? Where would the average be? And here it was not going to happen. So he heads to Houston, and we'll see if that works out.
He's not going to be playing second base there.
Altuve is the guy.
But you're absolutely right. It's not the first guy that finds it much easier playing for a second division team where there's no pressure. It's difficult for young players to play on teams that are trying to compete.
Not to my knowledge. I'm not sure what the corresponding move has been made, if it's been made, for the Cardinals. A call up.
We have not been told one, and Wainwright strikes out. 4th strikeout for Bumgarner. I'm sure they probably couldn't get anybody here in time for this game. But we'll find out. Somebody will be joining us in Philadelphia.
Cardinals will get back a player to be named later.
That may be a list that will be submitted to the Cardinals, and then at some point, maybe even after the season, they can pick who they want. And then if they can't come up with somebody, they take cash.
Green still only 28, but was hitting .218, 4 homers, 19 driven in 77 games this year.
Recently, he was being bypassed where a lefty be on the mound, and you would have a left-hand hitting pinch hitter go up there with him available. The right-hand hitting Green. Yesterday was his first start on the homestand, so he's better off.
He was booed last night. Article on FoxSportsMidwest.com talking about Tyler Green and his frustration that he's had. Also had some comments about the boos. 2 balls and 2 strikes on John Jay, with Alan Craig to follow.
That is a rarity for Cardinal fans, too, to boo anybody. So
it happens.
Yeah. Doesn't happen often, but it's happened.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Jay with a base hit to left, first time up. On deck, it's Alan Craig, who's diagnosed with a bone bruise. Good to see him back in the lineup today. Misses inside. First walk issued by the lefty Bumgarner.
Pretty close. Just a bit inside. John Jay on base for the second time.
Alan Craig means so much to this team. This will be his 70th game that he's appeared in. And he has driven in 58 to go along with 17 home runs.
Started the season on the disabled list with the fractured kneecap that he suffered last season. Got to the roster on May 1st. Then he missed another 14 games with a hamstring.
And that was an injury suffered in right field in San Francisco.
And of course, the knee injury started when he ran into the chasing a foul ball, ran into the railing at Houston last season, and then this bone bruise in his ribs is product of trying to chase a ball and falling into the stands in Cincinnati. Maybe we have to make him a center fielder, keep him away from the foul lines.
Yeah, he hit the railing along that first base line in a foul ball, and that was the series in July. But then he probably hit the wall out center. Now the ball finds you, maybe the wall will find Alan Craig.
Great production when he is healthy.
And he said it was just so odd that yesterday just happened to be the day that he wakes up, and it was a lot more sore than the pain the last couple of weeks, so he sat out yesterday.
And when he got to the ballpark, he wanted to be in that lineup after hitting 2 home runs against the Giants the night before. So he's got the right attitude. He's not looking to get out of that lineup.
This is a young battery that they have here with San Francisco today. Bumgarner and Posey. As Craig hits a fly ball out to center. Late break and a sliding catch made by Pagan. He started back, had to come in, makes a sliding catch for the second out.
Got fooled a little bit by the big swing by a power hitter and was able to correct it. Comes in, makes a sliding catch. He's committed 5 errors from his center field position, Pagan, but I think that's more indicative of the outfielder he is.
Al, think about this. Back in the World Series of 2010, you had to go back to 1947 to find a younger battery than these two that we see today. And in 1947, it was Yogi Berra and Spec Shea. As Bumgarner, when he made his major league debut, he was just over 20 years old. It was 20 years and 38 days. 4th youngest pitcher for the Giants. That's one of the reasons why they gave him the contract that they did. They feel he's very mature for his age. And locked up through 2017.
Must be a mechanic also. They had an incident earlier this year, I think it was, that the player's bus from Colorado airport to the hotel, it broke down, and Bumgarner went and fixed the motor. Told the bussie, the first one's on me.
He's also a lover, not a fighter, because he gave his wife a 5-year-old bull calf as a wedding present. And safe is Jay out at second. So we have found out that he's got a pickoff move. He can fix your car. And he gave his wife a 5-year-old bull calf as a wedding present.
Very romantic.
Indeed.
Very deliberate in his throw to Brandon Belt, the first baseman, and then Belt makes a bad throw high into the infield side. And always like it when a runner, don't get in that rundown. At the major league level, they're gonna be out. Just go ahead and put your head down, run there, and then he reacted, seeing the throw was to the high into the infield side. He slides to the outfield side and is safe. That's the 12th steal for John Jay now. 12 out of 14.
Cardinals trying to add to their 2-run lead. A home run early on by Carlos Beltran. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Just missed outside, and it's 2-2. This is a team that historically last year made history with fewest home runs allowed on the road. It was under 1, and that was the best it had been in over 2 decades in Major League Baseball. The 2-2 pitch. And it's a swing and a miss. Holiday strikes out for the second time this afternoon. Scudero, Cabrera, and Posey.
Both pitchers are right on, but Beltran hit the 2-run home run in the first off of Bumgarner, and Wainwright's only allowed a walk.
And there's a strike to Scudero, who lined out to center field first time up. Giants will return home after today. And then the Cardinals head out to Philly. There's the first base hit for San Francisco off the bat of Scudero. Scudero and Pence, the acquisitions to give them some pop, especially in the middle of the lineup with Pence. Scudero helps defensively as well. And those two combining for the 5 hits and the 9 RBIs. Grand slam mixed in there for Marcos Scudero. Here's Cabrera, who grounded out to second base. His first time up. There's a broken bat. And John Jay came in, steps back, makes the catch.
Trying to set it inside, hits it right off the end of the bat, breaking it. That was a cutter.
Here's Buster Posey. Former college shortstop, relief pitcher that hit 94 on the gun when he was in college. His dad's name was Buster as a kid, passed it on. Former rookie of the year and last season after the collision with Cousins of the Florida Marlins. Only played in 45 games. Golden Spikes winner from Florida State. Giants have seen a couple of those. Will Clark did that at Mississippi State. Tim Lincecum as well. Bruce Bochy, a former catcher, has had a lot of thoughts on what needs to be done with Major League Baseball and the potential of collisions at the plate and how you protect your superstars. I mean, think about what Molina means to the Cardinals and a collision, what that could do to this team and this franchise. And former catcher Mike Matheny for both the Cardinals and Giants knows all about that too.
Yeah, but it's very interesting because last year when Posey was injured on that collision at the plate, Bruce Bochy wanted two new rules to protect the catchers, where Mike Matheny was an analyst for Fox Sports Midwest working with us, and Mike Matheny said, no, there is a technique of how catchers can protect themselves, and he demonstrated just an ability to kind of fall away from the blow, and felt that if Posey knew that technique, he wouldn't have gotten hurt.
Really is a fine line. It's part of the game, but yet you don't want to see players like Posey or anybody get hurt. But definitely the guys that are the face of the game and the young generation of stars coming up in Major League Baseball.
Go back to Pete Rose and Fosse in the All-Star game. Fosse was never the same after Rose took him out on a play at the plate.
See if they want to start the runner here. There he goes, and it's taken for a ball. So Wainwright walks his first, or rather his second of the afternoon.
Kind of felt like they would be sending him because Wainwright is around the plate and Posey doesn't strike out that much. But he ended up walking.
So here is Hunter Pence. Runners at first and second. Struck out looking back in the second inning. And a ground ball that could be two for Kyle. Flips to second, on to first. Save. We may have an argument here. Mike Matheny on the top step of the dugout. Now he goes back. Looked to me like a double play.
It sure did. Also, for Kyle, going to his left and backwards flip took a little time to get it to Descalso, but a strong throw by Daniel. Looked like they get Pence. There's a little bit delay, and I thought they got Pence. Looked much closer on this replay, and there it looked more safe. What do you think, Dan? I know he is safe because that's what Marvin Hudson called.
Two replays ago I thought safe, and then the last one I thought out, and you thought safe. To the naked eye, I thought he was out.
Things that fans also have to take into account is you're also doing it. There you see he is safe. Ball not quite in the glove, and his foot's on the bag. Fans see it with their hearts too, wanting it to go for their team.
And so do some broadcasters. You can put me in that group.
Never would that happen.
I admit it. Here's Brandon Belt. Runners at first and third. Good pitch. Tied him up. It's popped up. Shading from the sun for Kyle. Makes the catch. The Giants will strand two. Beltran leads it off when we come back. He's already homered this afternoon. Season of Carlos Beltran. He's added another one today. Home run in the first inning. 2-run shot, and that's where he's done the majority of his damage. You think about, Al, the specialization of the game, and maybe that's one of the reasons why you don't see the home runs middle and later half, as Beltran will see not that starter, but the specialization guy that comes in. And it was always interesting to hear thoughts of a guy like Bruce Sutter this past weekend. He says, I can't believe how hitters many times do not take a pitch down late in games. And yet a future Hall of Famer, Tony La Russa, would tell you to, if you got a pitch to hit, you're down. But you got a pitch to hit, go for it, because of the specialization of the game.
Game has evolved in many ways. A lot of starters, a little slow coming out of the blocks, so they're trying to get ahead of you. Later on, they can make their pitches. Bumgarner, 2 strikeouts in a row, 6 on the afternoon. Is you elevate the ball there above the strike zone, and it's conducive to a pop-up or a swing and miss. Get it down a little bit, you're in trouble.
So 6 strikeouts, and here's David Freese.
David to chase one up, first time up.
Right back to him. Nice play. Steps and throws, and there's 2 outs. Yadier Molina. As we update the medal count, the Olympics. Hungarians, where are they, Al?
Beating the U.S. in water polo. Already did that. That is in Hungary. They are noted for their water polo. Also soccer. But good college teams will go to Hungary and be beaten by high school teams.
Women's soccer, and Team USA has scored a goal, we understand, and they lead Japan by 1.
And that's a gold medal round, too.
2 balls and no strikes here on Molina. You get caught up into the Olympics at all?
A little bit.
I am very disappointed. There's no baseball, the Olympics, and hopefully that'll be reinstituted fairly soon. But talked to Ben Sheets. I remember visiting with Ryan Franklin about winning a gold medal and what it meant to him. Bumgarner again makes the play as they beat Cuba, an historic matchup a number of years ago. days of the season. You'll be on the field and taking photos of your favorite players, Mike Matheny and Fred Bird. That's that all-important Pirates weekend. Cardinals.com to get your tickets. Fans enjoying the sunshine and a little baseball here at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals lead of 2-0. Only 3 hits combined in this game. 2 for St. Louis. And one of those, a 2-run shot by Beltran to account for all the scoring thus far. Here's Crawford, and he looks at a strike from Adam Wainwright. Now, what are the differences you see right now with Wainwright from the beginning of the season? Some rough outings there, and what we're seeing right now.
Command.
It's off the end of the bat and freeze, lets it go foul.
Particularly early in the season, his velocity was down 3 or 4 miles, but it was the cutter that he really had trouble. It was very inconsistent. Gave up quite a few home runs with the ball not breaking and staying kind of a BP fastball in the middle of the plate. And I think it's just the pure fact that 3 or 4 more months removed from the Tommy John surgery, that much more time to recuperate, and you just watch his mannerisms. He feels now that he can pitch when he trusts his stuff, that when he throws the ball it's going to go where he wants it.
Inside fastball, and that's taken there by Descalso, moving to his left, 1 away. We are at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, home to the defending world champions. The Mad Hungarian, Al Rabaski, Dan McLaughlin, Jim Hayes with you. The story of this game thus far, the pitching of Wainwright and Carlos Beltran, a 2-run homer. For Beltran, that was his 27th this year.
What do you think his numbers were going to be?
I thought if you had exactly what he has now, it would have been a good year. 27 homers. Did not expect that. I thought 80 RBIs, good. You take that, and if he hits 285, perfect.
All right. He's at 285 right now.
That's what I mean. I'm pretty happy.
He had 22 home runs, 84 RBIs a year ago when he had a comeback year. And so, I mean, he has surpassed everybody's expectations. A little bit up. Got a ground ball, but has found a hole on the left side.
And I think, Al, the part of this with Beltran after the base hit now by Arias, here's Bumgarner, that I really like is the fact that today is game number 112, and for Beltran personally, he's playing in game number 106, so he's been healthy
and playing under control. As Mike Matheny has said, hey, I want you to stay available every day, you know, so at times back off a little bit.
How about you? What did you expect the numbers to be at?
I love the deal. 2 things. If he was healthy, I knew he'd be productive. But that's a big question. It's the health. And then I also liked the fact that it was only a 2-year contract in case he wasn't healthy. That you weren't saddled with him for 5 years or so. But he has passed all my expectations. And maybe the best thing, we really found out what a great guy he is.
Mr. Gersh there on the left. He is the assistant GM. John Mozeliak on the right. And give John an awful lot of credit. That's now back-to-back seasons in which he has sought a veteran, and that veteran has come through in St. Louis. Last year, Berkman, the comeback player of the year. Again, Berkman dealing now with 2 sore knees. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bumgarner struck out first time up. Swinging away and hits it down the left field line, but foul. Mentioned he hit that walk-off home run. He's had a couple of good cuts here today.
Yes, he has. 7 for 51. This ball was foul. How about how casual our version of the ball dude down there?
See, their version, they would say, well, you just didn't see it. Went right by him. He didn't even know it was there.
There's a little gray in his beard and hair, but probably 20 years younger than the ball dudes in San Francisco.
Definitely. Here's a 1-2 pitch with a runner at first. Off-speed pitch. This is low and away, 2-2.
And Tim Flannery flashing signs. In this at bat, we've seen bunt, we swung away, and we flashed the bunt again. What will you do with 2 strikes? The cutter.
There it is, and it's past Freeze into left. Arias, who can run, very good speed, winds up at third. So Bumgarner puts it in play. It pays off. And runners at the corners now with 1 down, top of 5 here in St. Louis.
Pitchers can help their own cause by doing something at the plate, whether it's sacrificing. In this case, it was a butcher boy. You show bunt, pull it back, and then the key is you have to hit down on the ball. If you don't hit down on it, you got a good chance for a double play. And he makes contact, but you see Freeze thinking bunt, so he comes in, cuts down his range, and the ball gets by him for the base hit.
Now it's Pagan. Corners are in. David Freeze, even with the bag, maybe even a step or 2 in and off the line at third. Craig is holding at first. Middle infield. Back a step or 2. Potential double play, but that would have to be hard to hit with the way that Pagan can run. Wainwright has struck out 4 this afternoon. Fastball misses down and in. 2 balls and no strikes. Pittsburgh will start in about an hour or so against Arizona, and that's Wandy Rodriguez, the former Astro, now pitching for Pittsburgh, making that start. Joe Saunders for Arizona. The 2-0 pitch.
And making a good hitter. Not much more dangerous with the count.
And he walked him, so the base is loaded. Third walk issued by Adam Wainwright. And it brings out Derek Lilliquist as you get a look at Wainwright, what he's done lately, and as the games progress, he gets a little bit better.
We talked about this earlier, you and I, Dan, and we think the first 18 starts was just kind of when he got to that third time through the order, he just didn't have the arm strength. But it was no surprise to us lately, as he's built up the arm strength, getting better and better, that now those numbers the third time through the order have cut down.
So the bases are loaded. It was a single by Arias. Bumgarner could not get a bunt down, and that paid off because then he had to swing away and connected with a base hit to left, to walk to Pagan, and here is Scutaro, who is lined out to center field, and he also singled 1 for 2 on the afternoon. Strike 1.
Wainwright in that 200 or 142 innings pitch range, and the reason we bring that up is a lot of talk about shutting down Strasburg coming off of Tommy John, whether it's 160, 170 innings, somewhere in that vicinity, but really you don't hear much talk about that with Wainwright. One of the things that Adam has done is he's really cut down his workload in between starts. Not throwing as much, between starts. He really doesn't labor when he takes his warm-up. Really just kind of flings the ball up there and doesn't really exert much effort.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Marco Scutaro. Cardinals have also done that with Joe Kelly as his innings have piled up a bit, and last year he hit a dead arm stage. They cut down his side sessions. They got the zip back on his fastball, and they've continued that approach this season. Big pitch here with 1 ball and 2 strikes.
We know with his ability to get strikeouts, can be in pretty good shape for this.
Yachty wants it high. They want to see if he'll chase.
I think that was a deke.
Yeah, it was. You're right.
Through the cutter, but kind of raised the glove up and make you think it's going to be an elevated fastball, and then he threw the cutter.
2-2. Give him that cutter, and you see if he could reach for it, get a ground ball.
Ball up, produces fly ball.
Here it comes from Wainwright. Ooh, he was on it, fouled back. Marco Scutaro has been in this spot about 12 hours ago. Last night, connecting with this home run, that would be a grand slam.
It was his 3rd career grand slam and gave him a career high 7 RBIs in the game last night.
2-2 the count. Bases loaded. Cardinals lead it 2-0. Here it comes from Wainwright. There's a fly ball. Right center. Jay, a sliding catch. Runner from third will tag up and score to get on the board. That's Arias, and a base running error to an extent out at second base, not tagging up. So the runner at second stays put. Giants get on the board. It's 2-1.
John Jay got a good jump, closes there, chooses to slide to able for him to get the ball back into the infield a lot quicker. There you see the runner at second base, Bumgarner. He's the pitcher. He never thought that he would have to need to tag up. Going with John Jay going into the right field like that, if he went back and tagged up once he started closing, he could have gone over to third easily.
So now it's Melky Cabrera. Runners at first and second. Cabrera has grounded out to second. He's also flied out to center. Good breaking ball from Adam Wainwright. Strike 1. What a trade for the Giants for Jonathan Sanchez, who's not even with the Royals anymore. Sanchez traded for Cabrera. Now pitching for Colorado. Popped up and put away. Giants pick up a run midway through 5 here at Busch Stadium, and it's 2-1. Ask the Umpire Week continues tomorrow, and that'll come your way at 5:30. Citizens Bank Park, and we will be in Philly. What a disappointing year it's been for the Phillies this season. Ask the Umpire at 5:30. Loesch and Halladay tomorrow. Westbrook, Lee on Saturday. Lynn and Worley on Sunday. All three of those games right here on Fox Sports Midwest.
Phillies organization, I think they thought they were going to make another run. Things just didn't turn out that way. And they were sellers at the trading deadline, but they still got the great pitching. Beautiful skyline.
They've got Halladay, Lee, Hamels all locked up. See if that pitching can't carry them. Descalso with a fly ball to Cabrera. Shady from the sun and makes the catch. Descalso is 0 for 2, and it brings in Rafael Furcal. One of the issues for the Phillies early on was no Ryan Howard.
Sure.
And he was hurt.
Lee.
Yep. He was hurt on the final play of the playoffs for the Phillies last year. The out recorded by the Cardinals and Chris Carpenter. And then you had, as you mentioned, Chase Utley dealing with knee issues, and we know that he can be one of the best in the business.
And the Cardinals got a lot to be thankful with Charlie Manuel. We played last August.
That's a good point.
Played and Howard was having the issues with the Achilles then.
It's sharply to second, and Furcal puts it on the ground, but it's an out. He's 0 for 2.
But they had a bunch of guys that were just starting to get healthy and come back, and Charlie Manuel told me, he goes, don't worry, Cardinals are still going to be in this thing, because those last 3 games we're going to be playing against Atlanta, and I'm going to be playing my guys hard, and we're going to try to win every one of those games.
And some of the folks in Big Mac land remember that right now at all St. Louis McDonald's restaurants, 2 to 5 every day. You get smoothies and shakes, iced drinks, and $1 off those drinks.
Remember, the Cardinals won that season series late against Philly, and it would have been very easy for Phillies to recognize that Atlanta was struggling. They had bullpen problems. They just worn out their pen, had troubles with starters. The Cardinals were red hot, but they played true to form, and they swept that Atlanta series, and that's how the Cardinals got in as the wild card.
The Cardinals could have a big say in what happens again this year with Atlanta. As far as the wild card is concerned, Atlanta leads it by a half game, but also think about what's happening in the NL East. Cardinals are through with the Braves this season, but not Washington. And Washington leads Atlanta by 4 games. We have not seen the Nationals, and we'll see him for 2 series in September. Here's a 1-2 pitch.
This is a little more indicative of what we thought this series was going to be like, with both pitching staffs.
And Wainwright strikes out. That's number 7 for Bumgarner. And we're through 5. Cards on top. It's 2-1. Richmond Heights, it's Jeff and Jessica. All the talk of Steven Strasburg having a pitch limit. Wainwright, is he under any restriction? And the answer would be no, but we talked a little bit.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that, and
it is talked about, and at least to our knowledge, there is no restrictions whatsoever on Adam.
Adam is a little bit older. You know, his arm is a little more conditioned, kind of knows what the rigors are of a full season, where Strasburg is young. They want to protect his future. And Adam, like we said, is cut down on his throwing sessions in between starts, trying to do a bunch of little things to try and reduce that workload. But you really don't hear much conversation about limiting him or shutting him down.
So here is Buster Posey.
And we got a new broadcaster here, and it's Sophia.
Good to have Sophia in the booth and keep you straight as Posey picks up a base hit into right field. Buster Posey has had a tremendous series, and we understand why. He is considered one of the top young players in all of baseball.
National League Rookie of the Year a couple years ago, and it was just a hitting machine, and he has picked that up and just been remarkable what he has done, not only batting average but home runs and RBIs since the All-Star break.
And now, where do you stand on collisions at the plate, maybe any kind of ruling or change in what Major League Baseball could do?
I don't want him to tinker with it at all. As I said, I think Mike Matheny was taught how to avoid collisions, to where the runner wants that contact trying to run in on a catcher. I think if you do it the way Mike was taught, the runner has more chance of getting hurt than the catcher. But it's all been part of the game, and I can understand Bruce Bochy, who was a catcher also, and not wanting to lose one of your premier players and a young superstar in the game. But you start tinkering with things like that, then I think you lose the intensity of the game.
1-1 is a foul ball.
I think a lot of people now even question, Dan, is do we have the same intensity in the game that there used to be? Players used to not like each other, so it was all about winning. Now it seems like with the Players Association, it's more about, hey, we all got a great thing here. Let's all keep everybody healthy and happy, which is also very important. But winning sometimes is secondary to the intensity level.
Here's a 2-2 pitch to Hunter Pence. Popped foul and out of play. Wainwright started this ball game with 3 scoreless innings. As far as the scoring is concerned for San Francisco, they picked up a run in the 5th, and he had not allowed a hit until the 4th. There's a 2-2 pitch, and he got him to chase for the strikeout.
Wainwright's allowed 4 hits. He's walked a pair, and he's battled when he's had to. And there he picks up another strikeout. That is number 5 for him. Bumgarner on the other side has held the Cardinals just to 2 hits. And only a handful in last night's ball game, but Beltran's 2-run home run is the difference in this game.
Here's Brandon Belt 1-0 pitch to Belt, misses outside, 2 balls and no strikes. In the air, shallow center field for Kyle, backing up to make the catch. What's on tap? And it's the Phillies tomorrow night. Loesch, the former Phil, against Roy Halladay, Cy Young Award winner, one of the best in baseball. He's 5-6, and will come your way at 5:30.
Obviously, Halladay not having a typical season and Loesch having a career year. But I don't think there's any Cardinal that's looking forward to facing the Doc.
Talk of shutting him down. That will not be the case, so we'll see him on Friday night. Phillies have traded Shane Victorino, and thought being, Al, that they're not going to postseason play for the first time, I believe, in 5 consecutive years. So
either 5 or 6.
Might even be 6.
Yeah.
But the idea being that if we're not going, let's get Halladay ready to roll for 2013. Up the middle and a base hit. Crawford right back at Wainwright and a single into center field.
6'6" Adam Wainwright somehow got underneath that line drive right back through the box.
Brings in the 8th place hitter, Arias.
It's one of those ones that you see it coming, but you can't react to get back and do anything about it but duck.
A scary moment a few years ago with Chris Young of San Diego. He was on the mound, and Pujols hit one back at him off his head and was able to come back and still be effective.
Always talk about, a pitcher injuring or severely injuring a batter by hitting them. Well, that pitcher is a lot less protection when he throws a ball, ends up 55 feet away from home plate. Sometimes you can't duck a line drive, and
one pitch on its way. Seen mostly off-speed pitches and breaking balls this half inning. You do have the pitcher spot on deck.
Sometimes you worry about that, because then when you're asked to throw a fastball, you reach back and it's not quite there. But the way he was spotting the ball, you should never be afraid to throw it. Just hit your spots.
2-1 pitch.
Another cutter.
Two and two the count with 2 runners on as Wainwright steps away.
There's a fastball there that wanted it inside. Down and away.
Do you give him something to hit here, or would you rather load him up and deal with Bumgarner? Does have a base hit.
I always believe you got to attack the hitter.
3-2 pitch. Runners go. He attacks him and strikes him out. 2 strikeouts in the inning. And that's 6 this afternoon. The big curveball on the 3-2. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Ford, the official vehicles of the world champion St. Louis Cardinals. Big strikeout moments ago for Adam Wainwright. That's 6 today. Pitchers duel, we've seen a combined 7 hits, 5 for the Giants, only 2 for St. Louis. One of those, a 2-run homer off of Bumgarner back in the first inning.
And that's when John Jay rode home on that 2-run home run. He led off the game with a base hit. So no hits since the first for the Redbirds. Only other base runner was John Jay in the third off of Bumgarner when he walked.
We mentioned before, if you're just joining us, Tyler Green was traded this morning to the Houston Astros for a player to be named later. And that is a lot of first-round picks that are no longer in the organization. Tyler Green, Brett Wallace, Rasmus now with Toronto. Zach Cox went for Mujica. The Cardinals have had great success in is developing some of the players that weren't necessarily on the radar screen and top choices. One of those being John Jay. John Jay, Alan Craig, those type of players that have been instrumental in this championship run.
And the Cardinals have had a lot of success getting first rounders to the big leagues. But I've always said your draft should be really measured by what happens beyond the first few rounds.
Line shot left center, that'll get down. Jay on his way to second base and hustling in with a double. What a series this guy has had. That's now 2 hits today, and he's on base for the 3rd time.
Got his average up to 309 now. 2 hits and a walk today. He had tied his career high first game of the series with 4 hits, and has just continued to hit in this series. He came in, and you see how Pagan get it back quickly, but not before the double. 2 for 2 today for John Jay, and he came in batting .452 in his career against the Giant pitching.
.389 average with runners in scoring position. Jay is running down to 30, goes. He is safe.
Second steal of the day, giving 13. Like a high throw, and at least Tim McClellan, the crew chief, said he got down below the tag.
Thought he was out, and the replay shows that he was.
Yes, he was out. As he kind of went foot first, wasn't even close. But we like the call.
Because of that, it brings the infield in. The pitch was a ball. And a very good opportunity here for Alan Craig to pick up RBI number 59. Why not 60 with one swing of the bat? Here it comes. I will say this, Al, we focus more on the blown calls for obvious reasons, but
and I think they're trying to say it's 2 strikes. Home plate umpire is trying to alert everybody that the first pitch was called a strike. So there he's saying there, instead of a 1-1 count, it's 0-2.
Video board has just changed, so 0-2. The next to Craig. I was about to say, though, Al, is for the most part these guys are very good and do a good job. What bothers you is, you hate to see blown calls. That's human nature. It will happen. But if they become part of the show, so to speak, that's where the issues come in. 1-2 pitch to Craig. There's a fly ball out to deep right. Pence is back and makes the catch on the track. That will be RBI number 59 for Alan Craig. back to a 2-run lead, 3-1 St. Louis.
Alan Craig just has that knack of driving in runs. And here's what you're talking about. The steal of third by John Jay. Do they get the tag down before he gets to the base? We say yes. And so results now, the pitch up and away is a fly ball. Drives in John Jay, but if the call would have been correct, it would still be a 2-1 game. It's not. It's 3-1 Cardinals.
Wondered how the team would respond today after such a disappointing night. 15-0 they were blown out, and a lot of it rests on your starting pitcher, and thus far Wainwright's been very good.
Momentum is only as good as your next day starting pitcher. Not that the Cardinals have scored a lot of runs or getting a lot of hits. They've been timely. 3 hits and 3 runs.
Seven left on base by San Francisco.
And only 1 by the Cardinals.
Hit sharply to third. Arias will make the play. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals, home or road.
Dickey picked up his 15th victory in 8 decisions. Beat Miami and Josh Johnson 6-1.
They avoid the sweep. Mets have come back down to earth. 15 games out, and 5 games make that now 4 games below the 500 mark. And the former Met Carlos Beltran digs in. 2 outs, nobody on. The 1-0 pitch. That'll find the seats out of play. Carlos with a home run back in the first inning. And that was a 2-run shot to give him 80 RBIs this year. One pitch. Out in front, 1-2. Here's a 1-2. And the Cardinals have seen with Racal getting injured is that John Jay in that leadoff spot, at least in this series, clearly has produced. That's the understatement of the series. He's been terrific.
Kind of feel like take a little pressure off Racal, moving him down the 8th spot.
The 3-2 pitch, and Beltran lines it to short. Cardinals add to their lead. John Jay scoring that run. He scored 2 this afternoon. Cards win, you save. Every win during this homestand. Cardinals take $3 off pavilion level tickets. Right now, guaranteed $7 tickets. And this is for later this month. Arizona and Houston will be in St. Louis. And if the Cardinals hold on today, it's $4 seats available for all those games against Arizona and Houston. And they will go on sale tomorrow at Cardinals.com. 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Cardinals.com/win. See a pinch hitter here, Gregor Blanco, and that'll be it for Bumgarner.
Brad Penny, former Cardinal, is warming up in the bullpen.
Last time we saw Brad Penny, he was in the starting rotation for St. Louis, and in that start, literally the last time we saw him at the ballpark was a grand slam. In that game.
Got hurt hitting the grand slam. I remembered it was a home run. I didn't remember it was a grand slam. But at Cincinnati, that sound right?
Right here.
Right here.
We had Bob Gibson in the booth when he hit that home run, that grand slam. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Well, Bumgarner, Al, didn't do anything to disappoint or not give his team a chance to win this game. Only 3 hits allowed, but we saw very timely hitting for the Cardinals. They catch a little break on the steal for John Jay. 90 pitches, and they lift him. 6 innings, 3 runs, 3 hits, 1 walk, and he strikes out 7. Wainwright thought he had the strikeout. He's looking for number 7.
Let's see how close it was. Went a little bit around the plate. Ryan Runge had the correct call.
And that's a swing and a miss.
He pulled down on it a little better and had the 12-6. Swing over the top of it. Well, look at that. Starts out about eye level and breaks down below the knees.
I had some people tell me after last night, Al, that they disagreed with the statement I made. I know you find that shocking.
I do.
As Wainwright pitches
what was your
strike
statement?
to Pagan, I said that
kind of got lost in that game.
Understandably so. Aroldis Chapman, for my money right now, would be the Cy Young Award winner. And there are some who are old school in believing that it's very tough to give it to a closer.
Well, I'll tell you this. I think a closer has a better opportunity to be involved in the MVP voting than the Cy Young.
1-1 pitch. Out of play.
Chapman is on pace to first time somebody would, with more than, I guess, 50 innings, strike out more than 50% of the batters he faces.
Ray Kimbrell would also be in this conversation too.
He's a little bit low. I think he's like a 47 or something like that now, innings pitch. But
in the air out to right, and to go down and get it, and Pagan retired by his former teammate Beltran.
It's a good argument.
Missouri Tigers preview coming up tomorrow night, and you'll also see it tonight at 10:30 on Fox Sports Midwest. So Tiger fans, SEC action at 10:30 tonight.
Usually in order for a closer to win the Cy Young is you really don't have a starter that has a real outstanding season. Now when you have way Dickey's pitching 15-3, his ERA is way down and everything. But when you don't have anybody win 20 games, then a closer has a chance.
What about adding in, though, the pressure of the closer and getting the final 3 outs? And not to say that a starter doesn't feel pressure too, but game is on the line and they account for so many wins.
I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah.
But I can see their side of it. But your first tendency is think of starters. But if you don't have anybody that really has a distinguished season, there's no doubt the closer is going to be in pressure-packed games. He has a chance. The way guys pitch now, 60, 70 games, you do that job. It's a lot more than the 34 you're going to get from a starter.
There's Carpenter, the 2-2 pitch. Get the feeling that this would be it for Adam Wainwright, as he's now approaching 120 on his pitch count.
Have activity in the bullpen.
Also lost in the game last night was Mitchell Boggs, and being used in the game, and you would not use him, you wouldn't think, in this ball game. Catch made by Matt Holliday. It's a beautiful afternoon here in the Gateway City. Cardinals trying to even it up at 2 games apiece, and they lead it by 2. Freeze is coming up. Trivia question presented by AT&T. Who did the Cardinals trade to the Giants for Jack Clark? We just saw one of them over the weekend. Dave LaPointe was here. It was back in 1985, and what a deal for St. Louis.
It was David Green, LaPointe, Gary Rasich, and then a player to be named later. Because literally a player to be named later. Because Uribe changed his name. Used to be Gonzalez. And then he said there was too many Gonzalez's, so he became a Uribe. Mid-America Chevy dealers call the bullpen Brad Penny. Well-traveled veteran. Pitching out of the bullpen for the first time in his career. He had his contract purchased from AAA Fresno on June 29th. He's given up 11 runs, 10 earned on 20 hits, 3 walks in his last 11 and third innings, covering his last 9 games.
And the Cardinals have a lead of 3-1 as Freeze looks at a breaking ball. Now, we hear all the time how baseball players are creatures of habit. And for a guy like Brad Penny that has spent all this time of his career, that's been a long career as a starter. There's a fly ball into right. Pence makes the catch. But knowing that you have your hump day, that's a day that you're going to work between every 5th day, and you've got a routine. Now he's being asked at the latter stages of his career to go to the bullpen. What are the biggest obstacles guys like Penny will have going to the bullpen? Is it warming up? Is it just being ready every day? What is it?
It's mental adjustment, and you touch on one of the factors is from a physical standpoint is learning how to warm up. A little bit of advantage because truly he's their long man. So you kind of.
Yachty shoots it into right center, and Pence a sliding catch to take a hit away.
Very nice play by Pence. Sometimes you see guys slide like that and hurt his wrist. But Hunter looks like he comes up there. Catch with a glove, and then that hand comes down and can roll over on that glove. But I think it's the biggest adjustment. What helps make adjustment is if you want to stay in the game, you're going to have to be a reliever. And obviously he still has the competitive juices that he wants to play, so you adapt. A bit surprising as Mitchell Boggs is warming up. Ohika was warming up. I guess he literally is the 7th inning guy, and since we've moving to the eighth inning guy. But you and I are a bit surprised after Mitchell Boggs threw 30 pitches thereabouts last night and broke his long streak, 23 appearances scoreless. Gave up 4 runs last night in the 3rd of an inning, but you know Mitchell Boggs wants back out there.
Brad Penny now has jumped around major league teams: Marlins, Dodgers, Red Sox, Cardinals, Tigers, and now Giants. Descalso hitless today in front of a crowd of 32,810. Back with more in a moment. Sports Midwest. Let's go to our studio. Pat Paris standing by with a Bomberito Sports Update. Pat? Well, we thought last night it was a curious move for Mike Matheny to bring in Mitchell Boggs. The game was 11-0. Later, he did explain. He said other pitchers were tender. Did not specify which pitchers were a little sore. Cardinals did not use Salas, Mahika, or Mott. And Boggs had not permitted a run since A.J. Brzezinski touched him up for a 2-run homer, and that was on June 12th.
He had 23 scoreless outings. Now, probably did need a little work, and I talked to Bruce Bochy about it. The nightmare for a manager, you bring a guy in that needs a little work in a blow-away game. It's our Mid-America Chevy called the bullpen, and then you fear that he has such an extended inning and end up being 1/3 of an inning, but about 30 pitches and 4 earned runs. A couple walks, a couple hits in there, including the Scooter Road grand slam.
It's a sinker, and that then would make it 15-0, and those runs were charged to Boggs. And part of the historic loss for St. Louis, their worst shutout since 1961. Cabrera is hitless today. 2 balls and 1 strike. Jay is back and makes the catch. Well, they've held Cabrera in check this afternoon as he's 0 for 4. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the world champion St. Louis Cardinals. Crowd today of 32,810. Here is Buster Posey. I know our friend Vicki Bryant works here at the stadium, put on a great event a couple of weekends ago. He's telling us that there is still fan jewelry available and the authentic stores at Cardinals.com. People want to know about 11 in 11. Cardinals.com/rings. Buster Posey owns a World Series ring. 1 ball, 1 strike. He has a base hit today. And this is popped up to the right side. Descalso makes the catch. Let's turn to our Nissan drive of the game, and this is off the bat of Carlos Beltran. And early on, little did we know that this would be something the Cardinals would desperately need in this game, because Bumgarner was especially tough.
Carlos's 27th home run, ran his league leading RBI total to 80.
Swing and a miss by Hunter Pence, and that's the pitch that we have seen so many times the Cardinals go with against Pence, that middle outer half breaking ball that he will chase. There it is again.
And yet, Dan, and would you be surprised if I told you he came into today hitting .310 against Cardinal pitching?
Very much so. It's almost as if he steps out when he swings the bat.
Pulls off of everything, and if you can keep that ball in the outer half, it's almost as if you can't reach it. Fastball away.
Got him on the outside corner. Nice work by Mitchell Boggs. 97 miles an hour. And Pence having words with the home plate umpire. Bud Light Lime. Summer is calling. Pitching of Adam Wainwright, 119 pitches today. 7 innings, 1 run, 5 hits. Walks 3 and strikes out 7. And the Cardinals bullpen led by Mitchell Boggs last inning, trying to hold on and salvage 2 games in this series and earn a split. Rafael Furcal against Brad Penny, 2 former teammates in Los Angeles. Dave Righetti saying before the game today that the Giants and Righetti, their pitching coach, will use a bullpen by committee when it comes to closing games. Catches made by Cabrera. Cardinals scores 6. Any size drink, just 50 cents all day tomorrow at your nearest On the Run and Mobile. This year's 6 is a serious number. Brings in Matt Carpenter. He has one of the best hits during this homestand. That pinch hit single against Matt Cain that scored 2 the other night. Game 1 of this series.
Playing time has been diminished, but he's been staying ready as a pinch hitter. 5 for 20 with 8 pinch hit RBIs.
He's done a nice job in his rookie campaign.
16 of his 25 RBIs have come home. He's tied for first among Major League rookies with 5 triples and 8 with his 25 RBIs for a guy that's not playing every day.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Nothing at 2. Dave Righetti is the father of triplets. One is hearing impaired. Another has cerebral palsy. And Dave has been instrumental in raising a lot of money and awareness for cerebral palsy. And very nice man. Having a chance to visit with him. What a great pitcher he was.
Yep, I went into the Giants coaching room today. Dr. Rags, Flannery, Billy Hayes.
Full count on Matt Carpenter. Brad Penny was in St. Louis. You would see he and Chris Carpenter running the stairs every stadium we went to. The workouts that they would put each other through. Unfortunately, Penny got hurt because at that particular time, Brad was pitching fairly well. Not great, but he was giving the Cardinals what they expected when they signed him. This is driven into right center. That ball gets down. Carpenter on his way to second base. He already has a triple in this series. He'll stop at second.
Carpenter in the wintertime realized if he was going to play at this level, he was going to need to be more versatile. And he also, in spring training, they taught him you're going to have to really drive the ball. And he has really caught on very quick using his lower half. Drive the ball into the gaps, and we'll have a pitching change.
Carpenter in scoring position when we come back. It's 3-1. John Jay is our Schnucks difference maker, 2 for 2 with a double, a single, walk, and a run scored.
Javier Lopez appearing for the 50th time. That leads their Giants staff. He's been very good at handling left-handed batters. They're 7 for their last 42, and on the season a .213 average. He stranded 36 of 42 inherited runners, 7th best percentage in National League, and that's been his forte since 2009, stranding runners.
And a strike to John Jay. Taking that pitch, you just saw it to left field.
Right now, it doesn't matter if it's a left-handed pitcher or not for John.
Exactly. Just missed a little high and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Pitch him away, and as you said, he's very adept at going to the opposite field. Make a mistake on the inner half, he can pull the ball.
Cabrera and left, very shallow. One ball and 2 strikes. One-two pitch. Bobby Abreu has been sent to AAA, and he did accept that assignment. Rosters will expand shortly, so he'll be back up. We'll see him in September with the Dodgers.
And when Victorino came on board, he was designated for assignment.
There's a ground ball to the right side. Belt to the pitcher covering. Carpenter to third, and there's 2 down.
And we'll have another pitching change. Boschi's already motioned to the pin.
He's trying to keep this a 2-run lead. 3-1 St. Louis. Cardinals have a couple of big bats coming up. And with that, right-handed bats coming up, they will go to the man that has closed some games out for San Francisco. This is Casilla. His 5 blown saves, though, in his last 10 save opportunities. Santiago Casilla. And that's why that Dave Righetti and Bruce Bochy have gone to this bullpen by committee, looking more at matchups and not necessarily having one particular closer at the back end of games.
He has 24 saves on the season. And since taking over for Brian Wilson, he's on 30 for 36 83.3% save, but as you said, he's blown 5 of his last 7. Hadn't had a save situation in his last 7 games. He's just trying to keep the Giants in this game and 2 runs down.
Here's Alan Craig, and he takes a pitch inside. Craig reached on a fielder's choice back in the first and scored on the 2-run homer by Beltran. He's flied to center and picked up a sac fly RBI in the 6th. That RBI number 59. Here's a 1-0. Affelt that can close out games for them. Romo. Clay Hensley is out there. The 2-0 pitch. 2-1. Fans don't like that call, and neither did Alan Craig.
Road has been troublesome for Cias.
Two balls, 2 strikes, runner at third. With 2 down here in the home half of the 8th. Craig takes it a bit high. The 3-2 pitch, and Craig hits it sharply to second on a hop, and the Cardinals will strand a runner at third. Couldn't hit it any harder. Mott, the closer, he's set to go. 9th inning rolls in when we come back.
The game on the post-game edition of Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Pat Paris and Cal Eldred are at Lumiere Place. Adam Wainwright, razor sharp today. They'll break down his afternoon. More on the trade of Tyler Green to Houston, and we'll get Mike Matheny's post-game thoughts as well. Jason Mott will try to close it out for the Redbirds. We head back to the booth, and Dan and Al, guys.
24 of 28 in the save department this season for Jason Mott. Cardinals need this win to split with San Francisco and then head to the weekend set with the Phillies beginning tomorrow night.
5-2 homestand. We'll take that. That followed a 6-1 homestand as the Cardinals now playing good baseball at home, but very key to finish off this victory.
And a swing and a miss by Brandon Belt. We talked about this a few nights ago with Jim Hayes, and they had the numbers to back it up that Mott has gone with the cutter a little bit more this season as opposed to last year, and there is the fastball at 96.
Jason has not pitched since the 5th of August, so really needed him to get in this game one way or the other. And that cutter is so much more effective now.
Well, you never know where you might find a player that makes it to the big leagues. Jason Mott, former college catcher out of Iona. Now one of the more recognizable faces of Major League Baseball, and certainly here in town.
I think Dennis Leonard went to Iona. Very good starter for the Kansas City Royals, and there's strikeout number 1.
Yanni didn't even wait for the appeal. He was firing it down to third base to go around the horn. Goodbye. When he was in college, talking with some folks at Iona within the last couple of weeks, Al, they said that Mott's throws to second were as low as 1.76 seconds. And most major leaguers, the average is around 1.92. So back then they knew that he had a superior arm. He said he threw from his knees at one point at 85 miles an hour.
And how was his bat?
Well, Al, that's why he's on the mound. The old breaking ball, who's done in a lot of players.
But just think about some of the guys that had come up the ladder with him that, you know, knew him as a catcher. Then to find him become an elite closer.
There's a fly ball into center. This should be out number 2. It is.
Very efficient to this point. 7 pitches thrown, 2 outs.
Down to Arias, and 119 pitches today for our Budweiser player of the game, Adam Wainwright. 7 innings, 5 hits. Cardinals an out away from this victory, which would then send Wainwright to 10-10.
Give Wainwright a lot of credit after the Cardinals get slaughtered last night, 15-0. He restored order, pitched brilliantly. Bumgarner pitched very well, but it appears he's going to lose this game.
One ball and 1 strike.
Cardinals off to a very short weekend road trip, 3 games to Philadelphia, and then come back for a nice long homestand.
A little bit low. 3-1. And now the tying run will come to the plate. A 2-out walk issued to Arias. I believe this is Sanchez, and it is.
Will Chris out for a quick talk.
Hector Sanchez will be the pinch hitter now for San Francisco. Hector Sanchez is 2 for 7 as a pinch hitter this year.
Not quite like Billy Butler.
Let's hope not.
And
Billy Butler was a home run off of Mott in that series against Kansas City.
2 outs, 2 strikes. 1 strike away from a victory, and that tied the game, and then it went, I believe, 12 innings.
The story in this series has been the play of John Jay with 10 hits. His defense, the 4 games here against San Francisco, 2 teams that are pretty evenly matched, and 2 teams that very well could be headed to postseason play. That's a strike at 95.
Defensive indifference as Arias goes to second base. Pitch innings, one of the toughest jobs in all of baseball, but you've been sitting there nearly 3 hours on the bench, and then you have to come in facing somebody throwing 97, 98. Just keep on throwing that pitch.
Here's the 0-2.
A cutter. Now that you've thrown that, go back to your fastball.
As Jason Mott says, you think about throwing the cutter, and then afterwards, if you get beat with it, they say it's your secondary pitch. So then they say if you get beat with your fastball, well, why'd you throw it there? You know, sometimes that stuff happens.
Well, yeah, and so you just forget about all your critics and just go out there and do what you want to do. Blow them away.
0-2, and it's fouled back.
The fact is, he's got him 0-2. Instead of throwing the ball down in the zone, this is when you really want to elevate it. I know Billy Butler did hit a high fastball, but he is an exceptional hitter, and still, that was very, through that same pitch, 9 times out of 10, he would not even put his ball in play. Elevate the ball, that's where they want it.
0-2 is hit out of play.
Still getting it too much down in the strike zone.
Around this time last year is when Mott became the everyday closer for the Cardinals. And in this ball game today, it's Beltran's home run. In the series, the defense, the play of John Jay, the 8th inning of Mitchell Boggs, which was good to see after a rough outing last night, and his scoreless streak came to an end. And it all leads to this. 0-2 the count, and a chance for Mott to close it out. Big gap in right center field. Here's the 0-2.
It's okay. He showed him an off-speed pitch, but way out of the strike zone. Now put him away.
The 1-2. He does. He put him away, and the Cardinals salvage 2 games in the series. They split with San Francisco. Wainwright, the starter, he's now .500, picks up his 10th win. Beltran, the home run, now with 80 RBIs this year, and a solid homestand for Mike Matheny and his club.
That's it. Concentrate on the fact you're 5-2 on the homestand. Build a little momentum going to Philadelphia. It's a quick trip there. Come back and really have to start taking advantage of the schedule at home. But you can't discount those 3 games in Philly. It'd be tough there with the Phillies pitching staff.
Talk about that on the postgame show. Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. It comes your way next. The Redbirds finish up the homestand with a win 3-1.